evening, everybody, and welcome to the coverage for the 13th and final round of this year's 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience here this evening. We have been a little bit delayed starting things here this evening, one of our favourite circuits, due to a quick hotfix patch across the iRacing service, but we are live, we are ready to go racing here at Suzuka for the last round of the season. My name is Andrew Mather. Alongside me in the virtual commentary box, as ever, is Howard Mitchell. Howard, what a place to have the final round of the season.
Absolutely, mate. There is no better place for us to go. The traditional end to an F1 season. Everyone knows it's true, and that's exactly where we go. We come here. Good things come to those who wait. We're all updated, patched, and raring to go with this. And we're doing it with the classic of the Club 100 iRacing Championship, the global Mazda MX-5. I know that everyone in the iRacing community is trying out the old GT86 this week, but this is what we go with. It's our classic here in the championship on the classic end to the season. I am very happy to be here, and thank you everybody for bearing with us and joining us nonetheless for one last bit of Club 100 iRacing action.
Class 2 is the main area to discuss tonight. Let's have a look at the scores. Josh Ladd is already champion. Michael Preston is on Williams Esports duties tonight, so it's quite an open field for the round win. We're going to shoot straight down to 11th place, though. 5 drivers still mathematically could win the title in Class 2. Chris Powell currently leads them on 804 points, but he's close to that title. But Murray Adams on 797, Matt Hale on 797, Andrew Dawson on 790, and Matthew Whitefoot on 790. Those are the drivers who could mathematically win it. In strange circumstances, we definitely will have 4 competitors of those 5. We may have 5 because of the delays to start things tonight, because of the hotfix patch. Matthew Whitefoot may or may not be competing tonight. We just don't know at this point, but we are about to go into qualifying. So, moment of truth for whether Whitefoot's C2 journey continues.
He is listed on the entries in the server, mate.
Okay.
So I think
yeah,
we're on.
He is.
I think we're on.
So we've got 5 competitors. Those are the guys we're going to be focusing on tonight. If you're watching at home, just because it's been 12 rounds of competition, and only one of them is going to take that prize of a drive next year in one of the races in Club 100. Just checking out the times and whether we are set to go. I think we've got 15 seconds of this practice session. And it's a strong field as well. We've got some new drivers in there. Ross Deal, I'm very keen to see how Ross Deal gets on. Very, very accomplished owner driver, and has raced in the BUKC as well. A 5,604 iRating at the moment. We could have, we've seen it before, a debutante winner in this championship in their first ever round.
Yes, absolutely. We have had that before with, was it Sam Sanders who did that? So we have had that before. There is a precedent for that. So, yeah, going to be really interesting to see how Ross gets on across this round. The 3 races that'll make up this round. Going to be really interesting to see.
So it's the classic format. It's the one that we started with back in 2020 with the car that we started with in 2020. 3 races, as Howard says. Timed qualifying is underway. Outlaps occurring at the moment. Timed qualifying sets the grid for the first race, and then 2 partial reverse grid races for races 2 and 3. Short, fast races. We love this format, don't we, mate? And we love to see this, the Simply Catnip Mazda MX-5 out on circuit for one last time here this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly good to see it back out there after... people will be delighted to know normal livery services have been resumed.
Oh, yes.
Here at TGMM. So you won't be seeing any Porsche liveries on a Ferrari or vice versa. This is, as you say, mate, great to see the Simply Catnip car out there for the last round of the 2022 season, and it's been great to have their support. Adorned on the car here of Mr. Steve Hicks, who's worked so hard to make this championship happen this year, as with every year since we got it started in 2020, as you say.
It's the standard iRacing rules. If this is your first time with us, they have 2 flying laps, each of the drivers, no off tracks, very easy to pick up an off track round here, lots of high speed corners, and the temptation to go a little bit too hot into some of those corners sometimes and run wide. Here is Ross Deal, number 53. Nothing to lose tonight, of course. This is the first time we've seen Ross in this championship, and maybe thinking ahead of 2023. If you are a Club 100 or BUKC driver past or present, you can get involved. We will have the end of season questionnaire coming out after things tonight. Plans are afoot to not tweak things too much, I think, for 2023. Build on the successes of this year. But I think in particular, you've already mentioned it, Howard, the GR86 Toyota. Great to have that as a new piece of free content for drivers on the service to enjoy. I wonder how many people will be keen to see some of that in play for 2023. That's for later, though. Here we are on board with James Montgomery. He's had a great season in 2022. Starting his first flying qualifying lap, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a great season as he works his way through this technical first sector here at the Suzuka circuit. Very much the case that, you know, I always find, Andrew, if you do not feel you've got a car underneath you, this is one of the most frustrating sectors of, frankly, any lap I can think of. It's so frustrating if you're not going to hooked up. But he's going well so far. Is James, and yeah, I think he's the furthest ahead of it. Obviously, everyone's in their own little instance on track, as you say. I think he's the furthest round of everyone in this session, so I would expect him to be the first, if not one of the first times to come through, as he breaks down into the hairpin, or breaks whilst going down into the hairpin. He hasn't broken down. Through he goes then, heading now towards the spoon section.
And this is a really key corner, of course, Howard, because if you get the exit of this corner correct, brilliant run, particularly in these MX-5's, as you go up towards the fearsome 130R corner. This is looking very tidy from James. Good amount of curb there, getting on the power on this long run under the Panasonic barrier. No times in at the moment. You can head across to the Double Dash Motorsport Media website, follow the live timing on there. Big thanks to our sponsors as well. Fantastic support from them throughout the course of 2022. Simply Catnip, G3 Pro, and Club 100 Racing, of course. James Montgomery heading into the chicane with many names. I prefer to go with the Casio Triangle. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there for Monty as he comes by, past the crowd, past the Ferris wheel, over the line to set a lap time of, just waiting for it to come up on my screen. That's a 2-minute 24.43, goes into second, but immediately beaten by Ross Deal. So Ross Deal straight to the top of the time sheets. Mike Hart second, James Montgomery third.
Yeah, great opening salvo there from Ross Deal as the first few times come in. Sam Sanders straight up into second place there, but still 2.5 tenths, Andrew, off of that gauntlet thrown down by Ross Deal there. So, well, you were talking about him being a newcomer to watch. He is already staking his claim here, isn't he? This is impressive stuff.
Well, as I say, Ross Deal, I remember watching him race in his owner days. Very good TKM driver a few years ago at a British Championship level. And we saw him race in the BUKC for a while as well. I want to say, I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong here, that Ross raced for Reading. I probably am wrong, but it was one of those scenarios. I remember, no disrespect to the other drivers on that team, it's the Will Van Ness situation There was a team of 4, and Ross was very much the one who got the results each and every time he went out on circuit. Very good driver.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry to all of Ross's teammates in that year, and anyone from Durham University who is not Will Van Ness.
Yeah, indeed. But you do get these teams, no doubt, where there is a big name on track, as it were. A driver who really, leads the team forward, so elevates the team even, one might say. And yeah, Ross, one of those drivers, are going to be really interesting to see how he gets on. We're on board here with Matt Hale, one of our Class 2. I'm gonna use the buzzword that I always use. One of our Class 2 key protagonists this evening in the hunt for that. Heading towards the famous 130R. How committed is he going to be? Keeps it well within inside the limits.
Tom Kemping currently the fastest of the C2 drivers, not in the hunt for the C2 championship title across this 13-round season. Here comes the Simply Catnip car, round the final corner. Can Matt Hale improve or get a lap time on the board? Yes, he can. Goes into 11th place overall, 4th place in class on a 2-minute 25.84. That's solid. That is solid from Matt. And he's done what he needs to do, which is qualify well. Sometimes doesn't go for qualifying in the Mazda MX-5's. Prefers to start from the back, but he can't do that tonight. He's got to be in it to win it. Here comes Christopher Powell, same situation, hasn't had a lap time on the board, goes 16th. 16th fastest for Powell, 226.51. Needs a bit more than that. The leader in points in C2 at the moment. Matthew Whitefoot goes to the top of the timesheets in C2. Big lap there, 224.79. Gets ahead of Murray Adams, who has also done a lap time quicker than Tom Kemping. Big moves there. The scenario playing into the hands of Matthew Whitefoot. 2 hours ago, we didn't think he was going to be in the competition, and he's just stuck it on class pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be. No one will be more glad of the patch that iRacing applied than he to give him that opportunity. But as you say, Andrew, on that Class 2 pole, and I'm just looking through. I mean, Powell is done, I think, on his laps.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm not sure if there's anybody out there who's gonna. Sam Dimolo, I think, is still circulating and on his hot laps. But yeah, that is a big thing there for Matthew Whitefoot. Puts himself ahead of everybody in class, of course, but everybody who is his championship rival. And well, I mean, he has to really, Andrew. He's at the back of those who can take this points-wise.
This has been a good lap so far from Charlie Summers. Was the fastest driver of all in the first sector. Lots of green sectors as well, indicating personal bests. Good amount of curb there into the final chicane. Oh, but makes a mistake on the exit. That surely is going to be a 1X. Is Charlie Summers, because I think this is his second flying lap, is it not? Is this going to be problems for Charlie Summers? Yeah, it didn't count. So Charlie Summers will be having to go from the back. He went all out on that last sector. He was on for a time that was going to be around the front row, the second row of the grid. But there we go. That is qualifying done. Ross Steele is on pole position for his first race in this championship. Sam Sanders alongside him on the front row. Great qualifying from James Montgomery in second place. He'll be on the second row, rather. Steve Hicks will join him on that second row. Row 3 has Mike Hart and Cameron Watson on it. Chris Hansen and Tom Edwards on row 4. Row 5 is a key one, though. We've got Tom Dix on there and C2 class pole winner Matthew Whitefoot. Murray Adams, the second of those C2 drivers in with a shot at the championship here tonight, is on row 6 alongside Adrian Goodwin, who had a bizarre incident in the practice session, which we'll try and get online later on because it was flummoxing. Let's just put it that way. Row 7 has Tom Kemping and Matt Hale on it. Craig Brown and James Fremont go from row number 8. Andrew Dawson and Christopher Powell on row 9. They will need to improve for both of their championship sakes. Rick Wong and Ian Sumner on row 10. And then a number of drivers who didn't set lap times in that qualifying session. Charlie Summers and Patrick Piskay due on row 11. Sam Dimolo and David Whitehouse complete the grid. The 24-strong grid there on row 12. So here we go then for the first of 3 races here tonight. Just waiting for the remaining gridding time to arrive. And how about that for a famous shot? How many times have we seen a grid of 20-odd cars lined up at Suzuka, ready for a championship finale? Memories of the late 80s and the early 90s, and this circuit played host to a number of great battles. I think we're about 10 seconds away from the lights coming on here. Ross Deal in the black and red car on the right of your screen starts this race from pole position. Sam Sanders looking for another round victory here this year in the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Round 13 of the championship here at Suzuka is go. Good start from Ross Deal. Already see Charlie Summers trying to cut through from the back. There's been a move as well by, I think it's the 56 to the 58 of Tom Edwards to the inside, but Sam Sanders takes the lead into turn 1. James Montgomery's down the inside as well. Wall gets a little bit out of shape through the latter part of turn 1 there. Mike Hart's had a good start as well. Steve Hicks is challenging James Montgomery for third, but it's a solid start for Sam Sanders. Has been so strong all season. He leads here early stages of lap 1.
Well, I nearly came out with the immortal line, if you no longer go for a gap, you're not a racing driver. And yeah, you were referencing an era, Andrew. I seem to remember a certain amount of debate about which side pole is on at this circuit. And Sam Sanders there with a very good start there from the right-hand side of the grid there to get up into first place.
Well, this car hasn't been used in the championship since Imola in April. It's had a number of setup changes and model changes, particularly with this new 2023 Season 1 build. You can already see the characteristic of the Global Mazda Cup car is very different. It's a lot more twitchy on the early stages of this first lap, but it now looks like the tyres are coming up to temperature. Battle going on for second place between Ross Deal and James Montgomery. James Montgomery's going to have a good run here. Long runs is off. There is Tom Kemping. Tom Kemping in the gravel in the 007 Belgium car, relegated to the bottom of the order. I think Craig Brown may have been involved as well. He's lost positions off the start, but great start for Charlie Summers and Patrick Piskay. They're both up 7 places. 2 Class 1 drivers, denoted by the red number boards on your timing screen on the left-hand side. They, as expected, Howard, are flying through the field in the early stages.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting one to watch. Good battle for second place here then, heading down towards 130R. Is Montgomery going to be able to set up a move here into that Casio Triangle chicane? There's big battles going on behind as well. I think, yeah, you can see there.
Tom Edwards.
That's
Tom Edwards in big trouble. Spinning out of 130R into the wall. And he's going to have trouble. And Summers is off as well. Charlie Summers involved in an incident which Chris Powell takes, avoiding action, and makes contact with the Doritos car there. The number 20 of Sam Dimolo, who is in, has got a lot of damage. A lot of damage indeed. Is surely going to have to come to pit lane, get a fast repair. The engine's done on that one as well. Drama at the end of lap number 1, including one of our C2 championship contenders. There he is. Christopher Powell. Is the car okay? I think it is, Howard, but that is not what the C2 championship leader would have wanted at the start of the night.
No, absolutely. Comes in the pound seats in this Class 2 championship with the best 9 scores out of the protagonists so far. But yeah, he's down there in 20th place, Andrew. And in fact, they're almost in inverse order of how they come into this round in the championship, actually, with Whitefoot at the head of this class. Those 5 who can mathematically do it, they are, I think Andrew Dawson's the only one slightly out of position in that. But yeah, really interesting stuff to open up this evening's racing here in Class 2.
But there's a lot of racing to go. If you're in this scenario now for Christopher Powell, don't be too downbeat. There's still another 2 races after this. Here's last year's C2 championship winner, Chris Hansen, moved up to C1 and has been having a commendable season. He's at the head of a bit of a train here. Cameron Watson there in the Red Lodge Racing Mazda just behind. Then Tom Dix in the Jägermeister car. And then you just see the yellow and purple number 104 of Matthew Whitefoot. Why is that important? Well, Whitefoot is your C2 leader in this race at the moment. And it really has been a remarkable season for Matthew Whitefoot. Seen him grow so much as a driver across the course of this year, particularly helped out by the training that he had with Steve Hicks back in this early in the part of the season. And they paired up for the Le Mans Special in June.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a real breakthrough moment there for Whitefoot. He's coming under increased pressure here, though, Andrew, from Murray Adams for those the overall Class 2 lead. And that's drama there. He's into the spin. And he's into the wall for Matthew Whitefoot. And how can he recover it safely to the track? That's a disaster for Matthew Whitefoot there.
Well, it looked like the same problem that that befell Tom Edwards one lap ago. Just ran a bit wide, got on the grasscrete on driver's right. Well, Matthew Whitefoot had to go all out here tonight. He had to win the round. He was putting it quite literally on the line. He went beyond the line there and has cost himself a number of points there. He's now back behind Christopher Powell. The door opens up now for Murray Adams, who's always been there, always been fighting. It's the two drivers, Howard, both tied on points on 797, Matt Hale and Murray Adams. They're now leading the pack in Class 2, and with Championship leader Powell back further in the pack, this is a golden opportunity now for them to try and snatch this title away.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the opportunity on a platter, as you say. Drop scores, obviously a factor in all of this as well. So, yeah, big opportunity for these two now at the head of Class 2. Although Matt Hale at the moment, Andrew, not bringing the fight to Murray Adams for now. Actually under more pressure from Adrian Goodwin behind him in the Mr. Blobby car.
See, there's something you'd never thought you'd say.
Indeed. Well, no, it's Club 100 iRacing, mate, so I absolutely thought it would come out at some point. But interestingly enough, Andrew, actually, Whitefoot here has recovered to driving just behind Powell. So it's sort of, we have actually got two battles on track sort of forming up here between the big players in that Class 2 championship.
Have indeed. Meanwhile, towards the front of the field, Sam Sanders and James Montgomery. There's been a change for the lead there, sorry. James Montgomery has got past both Ross Deal and Sam Sanders. Sam Sanders has been given a bit of a bump draft there to Montgomery. This is very risky through 130R. Deal's on the outside. They all keep it going in the right direction. Steve Hicks in the Simply Catnip cars coming into play now as well. And Mike Hart in the Mean Machine in 5th place. What a race that we've got here on lap number 3, approaching the middle phase of this race, and it is heating on about another off. It's good. It's Dawson. It's Andrew Dawson. Sorry, I thought it was Goodwin for a second. No, Andrew Dawson is the latest driver to succumb to 130R, and that's another one of our C2 contenders.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy, Andrew. We've got a major battle at the front here for the lead of the race, and as you say, we've got key names in this Class 2 fight coming a cropper all at the same corner. I mean, it's it's almost like a wall of champions forming here, or wall of championship contenders. Wall could be champions indeed, forming there at 130R. They're clearly pushing hard here. Look at this though at the front. Ross Deal now applying pressure once again. He's going to try and tuck underneath here, but he'll be on the outside for the next corner. Surely Montgomery will be able to hold on to it, certainly through the first part here, but under braking. Yeah, he's had a good run through the complex there, just to get some breathing space over Ross Deal. But what a race we have in prospect here. Loving this one.
I'm going to say it now. I'm going to get in trouble for this. Can we not have Josh Ladd and Michael Preston turn up more often? This is great. This is fantastic racing for the lead of this race. Only joking, guys. Love you. Hope you're watching. Wherever you are in the world this evening, our two top drivers with other duties here. It is a Thursday night, normally race on a Wednesday. James Montgomery continuing to race here. Ross Deal in second place. There's Cameron Watson, 7th place at the moment. Him and Tom Dix just trying to work together at the moment to join this front six, as Deal again side by side with Montgomery heading towards 130R. We've seen overtakes around the outside here in the past. Has Deal got ahead enough? He's left a bit of room there for Montgomery, run wide, and is just about held together. But here comes Sam Sanders down the inside, looking for at least second place now. Looks like Mike Hart's got involved. Touch there. I think Hart just touched the rear of Sam Sanders, and it was enough to pivot the number 34 round. He's got going again, but fallen to 8th place.
Yeah, absolutely. They're pushing the absolute limit here. You got to say that when they're doing that, sometimes these incidents happen. What battling we had there. Good little move from Mike Hart for fourth as well. I don't know why I'm reviewing it, because it's still going on. Side by side again into turn one. Montgomery trying to go round the outside, or hang on round the outside. But surely Ross Deal is going to be able to stand home the authority. No, he's not. James Montgomery keeps his foot in it and has the inside line as they go into the S's.
We've still got another 2 races of this. They're making us work hard to the bitter end of this season. Down the inside there, that was Cameron Watson putting a shoulder barge there on Steve Higgs. Is the number 21 okay? I think so. There's also still a cracking battle going on in C2 between Murray Adams and Matt Hale. Still though, at the front of the field, they're side by side again. Once again, Montgomery on the inside as they head towards Degner number 1. Deal on the outside, hopping across the curb there is Montgomery. Ross Deal, what an introduction to the championship this is. He's going to be side by side again off of Degner number 2. But Montgomery will have the inside line for the next corner. Deal's going to have to go the long way round the outside here in bumper cam with Mike Hart, who's now up in 3rd place. You know what? They're still side by side as they now head on this long run towards Spoon Corner. Now Ross Deal has the advantage down the inside. He retakes the lead.
What an exchange between the top 2 here. As you say, mate, what a debut for Ross Deal in this Club 100 iRacing Championship. Now Mike Hart's having a look to the inside of Spoon, but it's going to be really difficult there. And that's round for Hansen. Hansen round there in the gold car, pushing the absolute limit there, and the 0-1 is round.
He's round, but forcing back in the right direction now, back into the race. I wouldn't say, with the way that this one's gone so far, he's completely out of it. We're still only on lap 5 of 10 here. Ross Deal, number 53, back in the lead of the race. James Montgomery 2nd, Mike Hart 3rd. Starting to spread out a little bit at the front of the order now. But this is one of the things we saw this 2 years ago when we had, we've had another off, and that's Sam Sanders. And that's Sam Sanders in big trouble. The front right wheel hanging off the car. I don't think he's going to be able to drive that one back to the pits. No, he's not. Sam Sanders, well, it'll be a short tow, but he's not gone right for the driver in 3rd place in the championship. Meanwhile, James Montgomery back down the inside into turn 1, retakes the lead away from Ross Deal. Another lead change, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. This is brilliant stuff that we're seeing, and we're seeing some pretty high caliber drivers making a few mistakes here. You know, we've seen several off during 130R. The competitiveness in this field, this is why we love returning back to these MX-5's as well, of course, because we've been doing them for so long. Anyone who's been on the iRacing service for any time, I think, has spent a fair old amount of time in them. As you say, a bit of a tweak for the new 23 Season 1 updates to iRacing, but everyone knows these cars well. Who doesn't know Suzuka fairly well as well, if they've been doing sim racing for any length of time? It gives you this brilliant kind of competitive racing we're being treated to right here.
So we've got 3 retirements from this race. Sam Sanders, Ian Sumner and Tom Edwards. I don't think are retaking to the circuit. We'll have further opportunities to race tonight. Here's your C2 battle. Main piece of tonight's action to decide who's going to be the C2 championship winner. On board now with Matt Hale. That's Murray Adams ahead of us in the white car. He is your C2 race leader, trying to overhaul championship leader Christopher Powell, who's currently down in 17th place, 10 positions behind Murray Adams.
I think I'm right in saying it's worth mentioning that if Matt Hale and Murray Adams were still tied on points at the end of this, I believe Matt Hale would win it on countback.
Yes, he would.
At the moment, and that's true even if Murray takes the win within Class 2, and they're almost going side by side. They are going side by side, in fact, heading towards 130R. How's this one going to play out? Matt Hale on the outside. It's Murray Adams on the inside. He's surely going to cling on, but can he keep it within all the track limits? Yes, he can. And actually, that's put Patrick Pischke onto the back of Matt Hale. But interesting attempt there from Hale.
Sorry, we've had a problem for Ross Deal. I did wonder, did we see a car off? Ross Deal is suddenly down in 11th place. I think this was on the hairpin after the Degners that he's had a problem, not quite picked up by the cameras, and has fallen down to 10th place. And I think James Montgomery has had a problem as well. So have those two battling leaders come together, because Montgomery is all of a sudden down in 5th place. Oh, that was a moment there for Charlie Summers, who don't think quite realised that Adrian Goodwin was where he was in the Mr. Blobby car. But change again in this race. Some form of incident, we think, between Ross Deal and James Montgomery. That's relegated them down the order. Ross Deal now having this. Look at this.
This is brilliant.
Remarkable. Side by side. This is proper racing, folks, between Ross Deal and Charlie Summers. On board with Charlie Summers now. Gives a little nudge to Ross Deal out of the S's towards the Degner curves now. Adrian Goodwin's got the best seat in the house. Tick that one off your DDMM bingo cards if you're playing along at home.
The last time we had this much side-by-side action in Club 100 iRacing, Andrew, we were racing on ovals, for goodness sake. This is brilliant stuff.
We were indeed. What this all means now, though, is here's a new leader, Cameron Watson, number 48 to the front of the field. Mike Hart in second place, and Steve Hicks, who was probably in his view rudely getting forced out of the way, is back up into the top 3 now. Mike Hart down the inside, he's going to take the lead into Spoon. Oh, Watson's going to run wide, is out in the marbles. Can he get back on circuit and not lose too much grip? He's actually dealt with that very, very well. Yeah. Mike Hart's the lead of the race now. The number 11 is in P1.
That's an amazing was it who was it who had an instant you said I wouldn't count them out, Andrew, because we're running out of runners in this top pack, but I suppose Montgomery stands to gain the most if these 4 come a cropper. Here's Chris Hansen, wasn't it, who had an instant we were like, don't count him out. I think you might be onto something there, mate, because yeah, he's slowly but surely coming back into this. Ross Deal and Charlie Summers are onto the back of this pack now.
Well, we've got 3 more laps to go of this race. 2 more after this if you're enjoying the stream. So make sure that you've given it a like and click that subscribe button. I'm going to try and put together a few videos of our favourite moments from 2022 on the channel whilst we wait for the start of 2023. Plenty of plans afoot. So as I say, do give us a subscribe, really does help us out. Thank you for your continued support, and thank you for the continued support from our sponsors for tonight as well. Simply Catnip, here is the Simply Catnip car, the 333 piloted by Matt Hale. Patrick Pischke just behind at the moment, and Matt Hale being challenged by Pischke now, needs to think about championship, doesn't want to lose out the big points that he's got at the moment with these 3 charging Class 1s coming through. Pischke there in the Aston Martin liveried car, then Ross Deal in the black and red, and Charlie Summers. I think if you're Matt Hale, you let these drivers go, you know how quick they are, you know they're probably going to disappear up the road ahead of you, and have a go at Murray Adams, so close to the gravel. So this is another one of the great things about Suzuka, Howard. It's a proper old school circuit, we always say when the Formula 1 goes there, because it's tight in places. There's grass, there's gravel, there's not 3 miles of tarmac runoff on the outside of every single corner, and it produces great racing like this.
Absolutely, absolutely, mate. Fantastic stuff so far. And yeah, from my perspective, what Matt Hale has just done is he hasn't let 3 drivers past him. He's just launched, like if he was playing an arcade racer, you know, if he was playing some Mario Kart, if he was playing some, I don't know, some Crash Team Racing, insert your arcade racer, he just launched 3 torpedoes in the direction of Murray Adams, right? If you've got the drivers like that coming up behind you, let them go. See if they can disrupt your rival more than they disrupt you. Although I have to say at the moment they are just disrupting each other and not necessarily catching up to Adams. But that will have been the thinking there, one would have thought, is to see, okay, you guys are quick. Can you serve me by going up the road and challenging?
Like I say, that they are fighting amongst each other. There's now only 2 more laps to go after this one. This is a really key lap, I think, for Murray Adams. If he can hold a gap, he's in a very tricky position here tactically. The temptation will be to go for Chris Hansen ahead of him and James Montgomery, but right now he's got to work with them to keep clear of the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, at the front, another lead change. How has this happened? Steve Hicks is leading the race.
Absolutely. Simply Catnip car to the head of the field, and it really could, mate, be any one of these 4. It could be none of these 4, to be perfectly honest, the way that everyone's going side by side so far. This is brilliant stuff, and you know what, Andrew? That's been a good run through the S's as well for Hicksy. He's going to have a bit of breathing space here by the time he gets to the Degnas as well. So it's Hicks, Watson, Hart, and then Dix, your top 4.
I was going to say, I'm jealous of Hicksy. He's got one of the best setups that I know for his iRacing in his attic at his home in Leamington, and it's probably the only place in Leamington that's warm right now. It's normally an oven in there, so I'm hoping it's got enough latent heat for him to keep him warm whilst it's -7 down here. But he is leading this race ahead of Cameron Watson. Mike Hart's still down third. Tom Dix has had a great race here. All that experience that he's got, a very, very shrewd driver who's picked his way through this chaos, got up to 4th place. Here's the important phase now for Murray Adams. There is a good gap back there to Patrick Pichgay, and every single car that he can have between himself and Matt Hale will translate into points here. And trouble there for Mike Hart. Off the road on the exit of Spoon, trying to get back up to speed. He's going to fall into the clutches of James Montgomery here. Murray Adams has got the 2 Class 1 drivers on the inside, Ross Deal and Charlie Summers. The wise thing here, I think, Howard, is let them go. Let them go, because you can tuck onto the rear bumper of them. They can tow you along. You've still got Patrick Pichgay there in 10th place. In between you and the rest of the field, this has been, if the result goes this way, this is a very, very good start to the evening for Murray Adams.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Came into tonight, or comes into tonight 3rd in those Class 2 standings, but definitely in a good position to challenge for the Class 2 title, taking off of Chris Powell at the last, as it were. And as you say, mate, this would be a fantastic step towards that, as we're now onto the final lap. Who's going to win this race?
White flag out then for the first time here tonight. Steve Hicks still leads this race. It's 3 at the front now. Hicks, Watson and Dix. Going through the S's now. Montgomery back up to 4th place. Hansen and Hart 5th and 6th behind. That's changing as we speak, with Ross Deal going back through. Charlie Summers looking for a way through as well. Just keeping an eye on that gap between Adams and Pichgay. It is so close in that C2 battle. Every point is going to count here tonight. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Hicks and Watson. Hicks has clearly learnt from what he's seen ahead of him so far tonight. Defending there ahead of Cameron Watson. That was the line that we saw James Montgomery using to successfully defend quite a few times from Ross Deal in the earlier stages of this race. Into the hairpin, one of the slowest corners on the circuit. Got to get the run right out of here. That pack behind still as it was. Montgomery, Hansen, Deal, Hart, Summers, Adams, Pichgay. That is your run out to the top 10. Just looking further down the order in C2, Howard, as Cameron Watson's looking for a move on Steve Hicks.
This could be costly for Hicks. He's going to take this tight line and might be compromised down the back straight, Andrew. This could be interesting. Although Watson tries to go around the outside, does he? That could be really interesting. Dix might have the best run of the top 3 out of here.
It's Hicks, Dix and Watson. Not necessarily in that order. Steve Hicks is going to defend to the inside, as he knows. He's going to switch back across. Is that going to be the line that Cameron Watson needs to go down the inside into 130R? Hicks leaves him the room on the inside. Dix is there as well, trying to look for an inside line to at least take second place, still side by side into the chicane for the final time. Somehow there's no contact between them. Just got to get pedal to the metal off the last corner. Steve Hicks is going to take victory in the first race here this evening. It's a win for the Simply Catnip car. It's a race win for Steve Hicks at Suzuka. Cameron Watson second, Tom Dix third, James Montgomery fourth, fifth for Ross Steele, sixth for Mike Hart, seventh Chris Hansen, eighth for Charlie Summers, and crucially, Howard, ninth for Murray Adams, top C2 in that race. And he was in amongst the C1s. He beat Patrick Pichgay home there in 10th place, so he's gained 2 points on the evening over Matt Hale, 3 points over Craig Brown, 4 over Rick Wong, 5 over James Fremont, 6 points for this evening over Matthew Whitefoot. Then it was Christopher Powell. Not good races for those two. Adrian Goodwin was next up in 17th. David Whitehouse, Andrew Dawson down in 19th, Tom Kempick 20th. Not good races, unfortunately, for Sam Sanders, Sam Dimlow, Ian Sumner and Tom Edwards. But it's advantage Scotland at the moment. Murray Adams, that was a big performance from the driver there in the 210.
Well, yes. Sorry, I'm still just slightly getting over that race. But yes, big moment there for Murray Adams. Big result for him there. This is going to be really interesting as Sam Sanders crosses the line there in the usual Club 100 iRacing fashion. Yeah, really interesting within Class 2, mate. Really fascinating as we get that first race of the three out of the way. But just what a race in general. How did that whet everybody's appetite for the next two races? Really interesting factors there in Class 1 and Class 2. And I think it's fair to say that Ross Steele has made quite a successful debut there. I don't know how you feel. Yeah,
no, very good performance indeed. We're already getting ready, though, for race number 2. Looking at our grid, we've got Tom Kempick on pole position, Andrew Dawson alongside on the front row, David Whitehouse and Adrian Goodwin on row 2, Christopher Powell and Matthew Whitefoot on next row 3, James Fremont and Rick Wong row 4, Craig Brown and Matt Hale on row 5, Patrick Pichgay and Murray Adams on row 6, Charlie Summers and Chris Hansen start on the 7th row of the grid. It's Mike Hart and Ross Steele, and away we go then for race number 2, the partial reverse grid race. Heading down towards turn 1 we go. It was the advantage for P2 on the grid in race number 1, but not this time. Tom Kemping leads into the first corner. This is the trick. Oh no, Kemping spins, and 2 of them at the front go off as well. Oh, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos on the first lap here. That's surely going to be a safety car, because a lot of drivers were involved in that one. And yes, so the safety car is out already for a multiple car incident that all started from the very front of the field, Howard.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it's almost like they all arrived and there was oil on the track, wasn't it? The whole of the top 3 went off there. I mean, yeah, there is our pole sitter Kemping just trying to squirrel his way across the grass. What a bizarre situation. Yeah, just it all concertinaed from there. So safety car it will be, but the man at the front of the field, Andrew, is a certain Matthew Whitefoot.
Matthew Whitefoot managed to get through all of that and survive with an unbent vehicle. And well, for C2 we saw one of the bits that we didn't talk too much about in that first race was track position. Now that order of the C2s didn't change too much from the early couple of laps. So if you could survive through the early couple of laps, get yourself in a strong place on circuit, you got a good result. So that's maybe a little bit frustrating for Matthew Whitefoot right this minute, that there's a safety car out and it's a long lap here at Suzuka. At least he knows that unless something truly remarkable happens, he's going to have a good place in the starting order when this race gets back underway after a full lap of the safety car.
Well, now people think I'm just showing a flying formation of the Simply Catnip cars. That's only part of the reason why I just did that shot. The other one here, for me, Andrew, is that Murray Adams falls well down the order as a result of all that. The person for whom I think the pendulum now swings towards is Matt Hale right here in 6th place, because you know it's going to be about who gets the best average result across these 3 races tonight, and he's managed to avoid the lion's share of that incident as well. So sits 6th in this safety car queue. Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Porsche safety car comes out on circuit then. We'll pick up the leader. Here is your order. Matthew Whitefoot leads. Adrian Goodwin 2nd. Craig Brown 3rd. Charlie Summers in 4th. 5th for Sam Sanders. 6th, as you say, for Matt Hale, ahead of race 1 winner Steve Hicks. Andrew Dawson's nicely positioned in this race as well at the moment. They're in 8th place. Ross Deal 9th. James Montgomery 10th. Rick Wong, Mike Hart, Tom Dix, David Whitehouse, James Fairmont. Now we're getting into the drivers who have been or are coming into pit lane. Chris Hansen has not come into pit lane, but Murray Adams has. Murray Adams gets a fast repair. Will be able to get back into the train, but there's a lot of work to do there from 18th place. Cameron Watson's in as well. Tom Kemping, Patrick Pishke, Sam Dimlow, Ian Sumner and Tom Edwards all in. Murray Adams, of these 5 drivers that we're talking about a lot here tonight as those who could potentially win the C2 title, he's the one, unfortunately, after his race 1 class win, who is not having the best of times here in class 2. It's not done yet. We saw a lot happen in race 1, and there's still a good amount of race 2 to go, but this is not where we would have wanted to be. He's got to fight back now from 18th place.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, this is not the job that he wanted to have on his hands after that Class 2 win in the first race of the round. So that's why I drew attention to Matt Hale. To be honest, mate, that's a really good position for him to be in. Granted, of course, it is Matthew Whitefoot who sits right here behind the Porsche safety car.
So the lead of this race. Car, I believe, will do this lap and then will get called in at the end of lap number 3. If you're wondering, we've not got enough to watch over Christmas, if you get bored of your Christmas films, the Christmas TV specials, remember, if you've missed any of the rounds of this year's Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship, you can watch every single round back for free here on the DDMM YouTube channel. I'll make sure I've got the playlist updated once we culminate things here tonight. How do you think the nerves will be for Matthew Whitefoot at this moment, Howard? He has been in this position before at the front of the field. A very good result earlier in the year at Le Mans in the Pro-Am special, which could come into play here tonight in terms of those tiebreaker scores.
Yes. Yeah, so, you know, would have learnt a lot from that Le Mans event, and, you know, he's... I think he'll be feeling... The thing about these reverse grids, and particularly when you have moments like what we've had there with the big pile-up, is you kind of have to just... in a way, just sort of throw caution to the wind. Probably not easier said than done when you're in the fight for the championship. But even on that score, to be honest, he was the outside. He's the outside person mathematically for the Class 2 standings, as we've got drivers emerging from the pits there, I think, having towed. That
is going to be very, very close. In fact, yes, they've done really well there. Now this could be interesting. So the lights on the safety car have gone out. So we know that the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. But we've just seen, so that was Dimelo, Sumner, Edwards and Pishke, crucially just got out. So they've had a very, very long tow back to the pits. They've just got out ahead of the safety car. Now, not sure whether they have enough time. They've got to really pedal now to get round and catch the rear of the train before the safety car gets back to the Casio Triangle and pulls into the pits. But if they're able to do so, I think they might be at a bit of an advantage here. Yes, they'll be at the back of the field, but their cars will be up to temperature, ready to go racing. Might be able to pick up some positions off the likes of James Fremont, Murray Adams back there as well, Chris Hansen, if they're struggling on cold tyres.
Yeah, here they are in the pedal to the metal subclass that's just been established here.
The race that's not a race.
The race that's not a race indeed.
They're doing quite well at the moment. They're heading towards, there is Sam Dimlow heading towards Spoon Curve now. They're saying that they may have already lost a lap, in fact. Just looking at the timing, so it may be to no effect. I'm seeing them reading as having completed 0.75 laps at the moment.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they made it. Yes, I mean, to be fair, they did only just make it to turns 2 or 3. Yeah. So yeah.
So yes, apologies. After that slight faux excitement, now that we know that they are all already a lap down, so they were beating the count to fall 2 laps off the overall lead. So Matthew Whitefoot will be preparing the car now to get back to racing. There'll be 7 more laps after this one.
Just to be clear here, Kemping here being allowed to unlap himself from the main pack of cars. Yeah. Good call there, I think, just to make sure that he's, he doesn't want to be in amongst all of this.
Timing is updated now. Yes, no, they are on the same lap. So Dimlow, Sumner, Edwards and Pishke are on the same lap. Tom Kemping is well and truly out of this race. We know that. He's not going to factor in amongst the top players. It's going to be very tight, you know. It's going to be very, very tight to see whether they can get onto the back of the train. Sam Dimlow, I think, is coming through perhaps around Degner now. No, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it to the back of the queue where Murray Adams is, because Murray Adams, well, there, you see, that's a great shot. You can see the main field going over the top of the bridge on the way to 130R. The rest of the pack are still going through the Degners. Meanwhile, Matthew Whitefoot has the race pack under control. In pulls the Porsche safety car. Here we go, back to green at Suzuka for 7 more laps in race number 2. Matthew Whitefoot will take us away there in the 104, leading this race from Adrian Goodwin, Craig Brown in 3rd, Charlie Summers 4th, Sam Sanders, Matt Hale, Steve Hicks, Andrew Dawson, Ross Deal, already looking to overtake Andrew Dawson. James Montgomery, that is your top 10. Good start from Matthew Whitefoot, nice and calm into turn 1. He still leads this race.
Yeah, absolutely. A much calmer start than we saw before. And that is...
Craig Brown.
Yeah. And did I see a Simply Catnip car off as well? Yes, I did, I thought. Matt Hale has dropped down the order, Andrew.
Yep. So Matt Hale, who was in a good position, it just seems to be that all of our C2 Championship contenders tonight are having a drama or two along the way. So now you've got Christopher Powell there in his distinctive colours, like his race suit, red, black and blue, ahead of Matt Hale.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me now, Andrew, suddenly this looks a lot more of a stressful situation for Matthew Whitefoot than I was giving credit for earlier, because he now just has a whole pack of Class 1 drivers bearing down on it. Charlie Summers is really trying to prise the door open on Adrian Goodwin. Oh my goodness me. And that's a disaster for Goodwin in the Mr. Blobby car. But for a second, Andrew, I thought we were going to play a game of Skittles there with the race leader.
Matthew, if you can hear me, do not look behind. Just keep going, keep pushing along. Use your spotter to know if someone is up alongside. because the Wolves are coming in now as they go through Spoon Corner. Charlie Summers, second place now. Sam Sanders up to third. Down the inside goes Mike Hart, looking racy here today. Into seventh place, past Andrew Dawson, Tom Dixon, David Whitehouse. David Whitehouse having a good run here. He's currently in 10th place. The
Yeah, very much so.
Great effort from David Whitehouse at the weekend. Ran in the Jimmy Broadbent race for mental health. Did a solo run in his Mazda MX-5 round Zolder for 23 hours. And a superb amount. Oh, there's another one off. Is it James Montgomery? Yes, it is James Montgomery. James Montgomery in the wall. Another victim of 130R here this evening.
Change at the front, new leader Andrew. Charlie Summers has got by on Matthew Whitefoot there, and Sam Sanders trying to get through as well here as they head towards turn number 1. And he's going to get the job done, I think. So it is going to be Whitefoot down to third place, but I think, I'm trying to think exactly where Montgomery was running. I think he was a little behind these three. But yeah, drama there again out of 130R.
Sensible stuff there from Whitefoot to just let
Dawson!
Dawson's off. Contact with James Montgomery. Murray Adams takes avoiding action as well. I think there's more contact there. And what's happened to Christopher Powell as well? Christopher Powell's in the pits. Christopher Powell is in the pits. The championship leader. It's all going wrong for Christopher Powell tonight here in C2. What is the problem? It looks like he's getting tyres changed. Is this more than a fast repair?
Yeah, but I will remind everybody, Andrew, if well, he's already had his fast repair, has he? Under the incident at the start?
No, I don't think he came in for one at the start. Oh dear, Christopher Powell's championship hopes are dwindling here. That's 2 races out of the 3 so far tonight where he's not had a good result. The door is very much open now for the others.
Well, it is, Andrew, although I can't think of a championship deciding round like this where I've seen quite this much adversity for those who are mathematically in it. If everybody has a bad night, it still goes Powell's way because it'll be a drop score for everybody. So that's one to bear in mind, but I'm not quite sure why Powell went in there. I'm really not entirely sure. It was intentional. I mean, he didn't accidentally end up in pit entry. He even, I can see on the chat, he even indicated he was pitting in. So what on earth has gone on there? As is this a slow-moving Cameron Watson? He looks a bit slow there off a spoon.
Does indeed. He's got a slowdown penalty, which can apply here in this championship.
Chris Hansen going by there in the You Can't Miss It gold livery there Mazda MX-5.
Murray Adams is doing a great job here, Howard. You know, we said earlier that he would have a fighting chance after being involved in. Oh my goodness me! He's just had a real cross up there, and it's just going to open the door for Chris Hansen to slip through for now. But he's got himself back up to 12th place. He's now knocking on the door of the top 10. And we've seen Matthew Whitefoot's already had a problem here tonight. So even if Matthew Whitefoot can hold himself up in the top 5. Oh, this is nervy moments if you're Murray Adams, because the 2 drivers ahead, C1's, nothing really championship-wise to fight for. You've got to keep that 2-1-0 on the black stuff. Don't get involved in an incident now.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, in some ways, I mean, it's a great track for us as viewers for a final run, but in some ways, this is a nightmare circuit to have a championship decider, because you know, you don't want to be getting involved in this. And how much side-by-side action have we seen? How much battling have we seen? And as you say, it is one of the narrower tracks out there. So it's a bit of a nerve-wracking place to be in the hunt for a championship. Make no mistake about it.
I'm just going to go back to, no I'm not, because there's a battle going on through turn number 1. This is Tom Edwards and Patrick Pishgate. Both trying to have a fight here for 19th place. I just want to go back to David Whitehouse and also the wider efforts for the Race for Mental Health, raising money for Mind, the mental health charity. 4 editions of that race that have taken place now. Over has been raised by the sim racing community for Mind. A truly, truly tremendous effort by everybody involved.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, both of us here at Double Dash Motorsport Media say well done everybody, well done Jimmy and Yogurt and the whole team who put together this year's event. Long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Raise more cash.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Fantastic job by everybody involved. Do you know what? I don't know where to look for class 2 drivers who are under immense pressure right now. I mean, you've got Matt Hale involved in this fight here. He's got Goodwin and Hart just ahead of him here, and I think he's picking to bump draft with Adrian Goodwin on the inside. How's that one going to play out for him? And then you've got Matt Whitefoot under pressure.
Through.
Ross Steele's.
He's got through. What a bit of bump! And that's the oval. That's the oval skills. The oval skills of Matt Hale come to the fore. He bump drafts.
He's wide. Sorry, I just saw his name dropping down timing, and immediately Andrew, he's going to get past it by Murray Adams. It went so well, but there's been drama there for Matt Hale, and as quickly as he went up, he's come back down again.
And gone down to 14th place. So Murray Adams has more. Craig Brown getting a bit sideways there through the S's. Trepidation for the C2 Championship contenders now. So in a way, again, that is advantage Adams. We know he's got a 2-position advantage over Matt Hale this evening from race number 1. He's now got 2 positions again. I always think of him in terms of, like, get the swingometer out, get the general election swingometer out. He's +4 now on the driver he's tied on points with. Many an abacus are going to need to be out later on this evening. We're going to try and get an update from Hixie as to what the points are looking like after the second race. We'll have the mid-evening break ahead of race number 3 after this one. We do want to try and know what the permutations are for C2. At the moment, it's still looking pretty good.
Oh,
for
that is off. He's round. Oh, and there's going to be the light tap as well.
And is the broken steering on the 333? Is this Matt Hale's championship hopes dwindling away? Is it running straight? Rick Wong's coming round the outside there and through.
Yeah, it's
straight. A little bit left hand down. No, I think it's okay. You're right, Howard. There it is. It is straight, but it's all gone wrong for Matt Hale on this lap in particular. He was running on the edge of the top 10. He's now looking at 15th place. Down the inside of David Whitehouse goes Cameron Watson. That's for 10th place. As you see there, Whitehouse running with the Mind livery car. Murray Adams just behind.
We should probably just whilst we're doing a few dispatches of those, we should probably be saying not competing tonight, but we should probably also be just mentioning a congratulations to Michael Preston as well.
Oh yes. Did he win something?
He did just a little thing. Yeah. I was just a small thing at a certain Autosports Awards. The Autosport Williams Engineer of the Future Award, really underlining the fantastic work that he's been doing there. So, well done, Michael, from us here at Double Dash Motorsport Media. I was very happy to see that for you, and I'm sure everybody else as well in the Club 100 paddock. Very happy for you. Well done.
Not bad for someone from the University of Southampton.
Your words, not mine.
No, absolutely delighted to see that, and I know how much time Michael's put into to his studies, and a big part of Southampton's former student team over the last few years as well, who are, as I say, one of the top teams in the country, and very, very well deserved award. Here's your battle for 7th place, Mike Hart and Chris Hansen.
I was going to say, we do apologise for doing certain news bulletins whilst cars are going side by side. I think we intended to say some of these things during downtime. I'm doing that in air quotes, whatever that is, because we haven't been given any. So We're just going to have to do it whilst they're going, you know, wheel to wheel all the way through. But yeah, interesting pack this, isn't it?
2 laps to go then, after this one. Not talked about it much, but Charlie Summers is having a heck of a race at the front of the field.
Yes. And I have to say as well, it's calmed down now for Matthew Whitefoot. He might be in a bit of no man's land. You can see him on your driver tracker. I say no man's land, he's not that far off the back of Steve Hicks, but this is going to be a good result for him, isn't it? Really big result as my heart's round.
And looks like Adrian Goodwin involved in the incident as well. Adrian Goodwin is, well, that's good sportsmanship there. Adrian Goodwin just letting Mike Hart back through.
Yeah.
Does Adrian Goodwin have damage? No, he's stayed out. Here's your race leader, Charlie Summers, and there's your C2 race leader, Matthew Whitefoot. Sam Sanders just behind in second place. Just looking through here of say we're talking about C2 being very topsy-turvy tonight. Who is on at the moment for the round win? I think it might be Steve Hicks.
It might well be, you know. He's having a good run, isn't he? They're in 4th place now. Where was he in the first race? It was
A1.
It was the win, sorry. Do you know, oh, goodness me, there's so many changes of the lead, it was easy to forget who was across the line. Of course he was. Of course he was winning it. So yeah, I agree with you, mate. He's on for the win there. Not sure if Hicks is going to forgive me for forgetting that so quickly, but
big stage of the race this, Howard, for Murray Adams. He nearly got a move on David Whitehouse. But again, with the scenario that he's in, not just getting by, he's got to make sure it's clean. The last thing that any of these 5 drivers can afford to pick up to tonight, we really hope that we don't see anything like this. No! Oh no, David Whitehouse spins. Murray Adams makes contact now. Are the cars okay? I think their cars are okay. I was just about to say that, and yeah, I think Whitehouse has got trouble. He's had to pull off. Now, I was about to say that the last thing that any of the top 5 in C2 can afford is some form of post-race investigation. Now, that won't be the case there, because that was Whitehouse on his own, and Murray Adams was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, could do nothing about that. So he'll breathe a sigh of relief in that one. In a way, he's got what he needed. He's got through, but he's lost a lot of time. And look at Mike Hart behind there in 11th and Adrian Goodwin. He would have been hoping to stay away from those drivers with the time advantage that he had. He's got the position, but he's now got the problem again of fast C1 drivers coming through the field, bearing down on him on what is the last lap of the race.
speaking of which, who's going to win this race? It's another battle between the top 4 here going on to the final lap. It's currently led by Charlie Summers, but Sam Sanders and Ross Deal and Steve Hicks would all like to deprive him of it. Once again, Andrew, we're going to have one heck of a finish here. A bit of breathing space for Summers here, just as they enter through the early part of the S's.
Yeah, he's got a good gap at the moment. Just run his line at the moment. Once again, you can see definite differences in the handling characteristics of this Mazda MX-5 now. It drifts a bit more. Here we are with Andrew Dawson and Matt Hale. This is quite a key battle for C2, 2 of our 5 protagonists here tonight. James Fairmont, who's had a pretty quiet night so far, is there in 16th place. This is all over 14th place. Hale gets ahead of Dawson. Just keeping an eye on the timing of how Murray Adams is getting on. He's 0.3 of a second ahead of Craig Brown, but has got to defend. Every point counts now. Murray Adams has got to get really defensive and make sure he's down the inside. There goes Mike Hart. Craig Brown tried to turn in, but Murray Adams was there, held his position. Just got to look forward now for the next couple of corners, hasn't he, Howard? Don't defend too hard, because a driver like Mike Hart will be on you very, very quickly.
Absolutely. You've pretty much got to call the track, actually, mate, because I'm just watching the gaps to see if anyone's lunging anybody like a hawk on the timing screen. I don't know where it's going to kick off next. Here is your lead battle still. And look at this, heading towards 130R.
inch perfect there, right on the white line through 130. Oh, Ross Deal in trouble, into the wall. Another driver into the wall at 130R. A big incident there. The front right is destroyed. He's out of the race, and it's going to be tight on the line. It's going to be side by side possibly between Summers and Sanders. Who's going to have it on the line? It's going to be Charlie Summers who takes the race win in race number 2. Sam Sanders second, Steve Hicks third. Here's the crucial point for Murray Adams. Mike Hart is down the inside. He's taking the position. Don't fall off the road, Murray, through race number 2's finish through 130R. You just do not know where to look. Murray Adams trying to fight back there on Mike Hart. Matthew Whitefoot's taking a crucial C2 race victory in class. Murray Adams trying to get down the inside of Mike Hart. Touches Mike Hart. Oh, puts him in the wall and spins himself. He's going to lose points here. Gets over the line in 9th place. But is there going to be ramifications about that at the end? What drama at the end of race number 2. I can't quite believe I'm going to say this again. Have you ever seen anything like that? I've not seen anything like that in this championship before. It really, really is getting dramatic here tonight. The race result provision is still going on. This is a battle between Tom Edwards and Patrick Pitchgate. Pitchgate down the inside of the initial part of the chicane. Greatly defended by Tom Edwards. Contact between them just nipping off the corner there. Tom Edwards will take that fierce battle for 17th place. Charlie Summers wins it on the road. Sam Sanders second, Steve Hicks third. That, I think, is certain. I think the 4th place for Matthew Whitefoot is certain. After that, I just don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Dix was 5th, Chris Hansen 6th, Cameron Watson 7th, Craig Brown gets 8th at the end there. 9th for Murray Adams. I'm going to have to say I would not be surprised if there is a protest about that. 10th was Adrian Goodwin. 11th was Mike Hart. With that at the end there. Matt Hale 12th, Andrew Dawson 13th, James Montgomery 14th, James Fremont in 15th, Rick Wong 16th, 17th for Tom Edwards, 18th for Patrick Pitchgate, 19th for Christopher Powell, 20th Ian Sumner, and Tom Kemping will come across the line in 21st. Ross Deal, who got round the initial part of 130R, at the moment is going to be 22nd. David Whitehouse retired in 23rd, and Sam Dimolo is still running around out there for us. Is going to be 24th. Well, the first race was dramatic, to use that word again. The second one even more so, and we've still got another race here tonight to culminate this 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing season. Howard, what can you say about that at the end?
I don't know what's going on. I've no idea what's going on. It's absolutely... It's absolutely insane. I mean, yes, that was, for me, you're always going to push to the line, aren't you? But, I mean, we saw, flipping it, Perez and Leclerc were doing it. We've seen the best in the world doing it, pushing for the line here at Suzuka recently. But that was big risk for, I know every point counts, but that was big risk for little in the way of reward, even if it had paid off. So I don't know. That might be one that Murray watches back and regrets the spur of the moment decision there. But gosh, what do you say? Is that Sam crossing the line? It was crossing the line.
Thank you, Sam.
Matt Whitefoot. That was the big race for him,
drive,
wasn't it? Big result there. Under a lot of pressure, of course, at the head of that field off of the restart. Not the easiest track to restart either, because I feel like you sort of ramp up anyway out of that final chicane, and it's all building up towards that first corner, which is a bit of a there's often a lot of people in your slipstream. I think it's a difficult track to do a restart on, but handled himself well when a lot of others around him. I've got to ask Andrew. You mentioned how the handling of these cars has changed slightly. Is it just that we're seeing a lot of incidents and mistakes out there? It's giving us a very dramatic round, but is it causing us to see all these incidents? I think has the balance of these cars changed since the drivers did a lot of their practice for this round?
Could well be. We're going to take a short break here. on the DDMM YouTube channel, whilst the warm-up, that's more of just a chance to warm down for some of the competitors, takes place. We'll be back in around 8 minutes time, I imagine, for the last race of this evening, and the last race of the year for this, the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the 13th and final round for the 2022 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell with you here on the Double Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying this stream. and your evening. What an evening we've had with the first 2 races of tonight. We've got 1 to go. Howard should be back with me shortly. Sorry, apologies as well. We had a very short live stream down. It wasn't a glitch. It was me stepping on a cable. Apologies, folks. But we are now back live, and you haven't missed anything. Hopefully Howard's with me. Howard, have a broken Discord as well?
No, you're good. I'm here.
Good.
I'm here. Also, I think it's arguable that you stepping on a cable breaking the stream is arguably a form of glitch, but you know, it's down to interpretation.
A human glitch as opposed to a technology glitch.
Yes.
Should we try and work out live on stream what the points of the C2 situation is?
I love the fact that I don't know. I don't think I was going to put it down to sort of an end of term feeling. It's not that at all. I think you and I genuinely are lost for words at this point, and we're only 2 races in. But yes, we can try. Let's try.
Let's try indeed. I need to find the results first.
How about I flash them back up on screen?
Go on then.
Showing the dear viewers some results.
But yes, this was the result from heat number 1. Right, we'll do this rallycross style. Murray got 9. Let's put it that way. Matt got 11. Are you writing these down, ladies and gentlemen? For Christopher Powell, it was 16. Matthew Whitefoot, 15. And then Andrew Dawson, 20. Where's page 2 of the results?
Yes. No,
19,
not 20.
19. So 9 for Murray. Sorry, I do actually need to write this down. 9 for Murray.
Yes.
11 for Matt. Of course, the pen's not working. It's so cold, the pen's not working. This is highly professional, folks, isn't it? 9 for Murray. 11 for Matt. I've not got enough screens full enough. How have I not got enough screens? Matthew Whitefoot's 15th. 16th for Christopher. And
Dawson,
19th for Mr. Dawson. What was the result in race number 2? Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. So Matthew Whitefoot got a very good score on that one.
Yep.
Murray got 9th again. I'm feeling good for Murray in that he's got 2 9th places. Yes, I know there may be that. A bit of a look at that incident at the end of race number 2. Andrew Dawson, I think it's just going to be too much for Andrew Dawson to recover from that. Christopher Powell, what do you feel like if you're Christopher Powell at the moment? Because in terms of this rank of them 5, you know, he's finished 4th and 5th of those 5 in the races so far.
Well, I'm speculating here somewhat, but surely Powell's in line at the moment for this to be a drop score.
Not necessarily. He's got some 70s earlier in the year, and I guess the one of the points is that it's 24 drivers here tonight. So just by turning up, you are going to get half decent points.
True, although those 70, so it's the best 9 of 13.
Best 9
right?
of 13.
So there's 4 drop scores. He's only got 3 scores in the 70s. So yeah, I mean he's got what are his non-counting scores at the moment? So he's got a 75, 77, and 79, and an 84 are his 4 lowest. I'm not quick enough to do the maths on where he is relative to those, but I was just saying he can be in the sort of mid-80s and still be improving his score technically.
Yes. What I'm going to ask you to do now, mate, is can we have the first page, top of the second race again, if the graphics all spin a Rooney round. What are you getting here, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens on a BUKC day, but we're not in the same room to be able to have this discussion quietly and with notes of paper. So we're just doing it in front of all of you. Right, that's good. I've got the race 2 results. Can we do the same with race number 1 now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, dear. Whilst I'm typing through this, Steve Hicks. How good would this be for Steve Hicks to finish the year with a round win?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And giving hope to sleep-deprived new parents everywhere, which I very much consider myself a part of at this precise moment in time. But yeah, no, could be a really, really nice way to sign off on the season for Steve Hicks.
We're nearly there, folks. We're nearly there. I'm just keeping an eye. We've got 3 minutes of this session to go. I'm actually glad this is a slightly longer one than usual tonight. I'm sure Hicksy will be working out the points as well for himself. So we've got multiple sources on this.
Yes. I mean, check. Yes.
In fact,
it's worth looking at that.
On cue, and this is also with a comment of before penalties must stress. At the moment, as it stands, can we just have 21st through 24th of the screen as well, Howard? Just so I've got my records of it up to date. So, Christopher Powell at the moment is scoring an 81.
Okay, so that is a dropped score.
That would be a dropped score.
Yep.
Right. Brain trying to process things at once. Matt Hale has got an 89, is what he's scoring at the moment. Murray Adams a 92, Andrew Dawson an 82, and Matthew Whitefoot a 91. At the moment, that is giving Murray Adams the title by 2 points. But, and it's a big but at the moment, that is before any investigations. And we did see an incident at the end of race number 2. How much time have we got on this session? We've got another minute.
Effectively.
Fill some time, Howard, whilst I just do some more maths.
Oh gosh, I mean, sorry, I'm playing along at home as well, mate. Okay, 82 for Dawson. I mean,
carry the 1.
Yeah, crikey, it's really going to go down to the wire on this. I think that the turn up for the books there, as Andrew says, big but that we don't know about penalties. But what that means at the moment, unless Mr. Mather's about to correct me, is at the moment Powell and Hale
are equal on points.
Are equal on points. Well, no, but I mean Adams would take it at the moment on 806, and then it would be a tie for second on 804.
Yeah.
As I think you were alluding to, mate, Andrew Dawson is kind of out of it at this point.
I think so.
Or he needs some. He needs things to happen to his rivals in order to get in there. But yeah, 806 for Adams as it currently stands. 804 for Powell. 804 for Hale. Of which Powell would win that tie on countback, and then Whitefoot on 801. So,
warm-up break time is over on that floor.
Yeah.
It's time to grid up for the final race of the evening, and the grid has just popped up on my screen. It looks a little bit like this. Adrian Goodwin starts from pole position. On the front row is Murray Adams. So Murray Adams is in the perfect position to try and secure this one. Craig Brown is on row 2. Cameron Watson alongside on that second row. Chris Hansen and Tom Dix. I think they'll fancy this from the third row of the grid in this final race of the year with nothing to lose. Matthew Whitefoot and Steve Hicks on row 4. Could there be another bit of teamwork between the two Le Mans teammates in the last race of the season? Sam Sanders and Charlie Summers are there on the 5th row of the grid. Mike Hart and Mike Hale are on row 6. Andrew Dawson and James Fremont on row 7. Andrew Dawson and James Montgomery on row 7. James Fremont and Rick Wong on row number 8. Tom Edwards and Patrick Pischke on row 9. We are about set to go then for this one. And just waiting to see, have we got the TV cameras here? Here we go. There we go. The start of the race with the floodlights on, with the headlights on. Murray Adams from P2. You've got to think he's got to go for it into turn 1 and take the race lead. He has taken the race lead. So the C2 Live Championship leader leads through turn 2. No big incidents like we saw in race number 2. That's the perfect start for Murray Adams. He's just got to get eyes forward now, Howard, and break away. Whitefoot in the wall. Matthew Whitefoot in the wall, trying to get traction. Has he got damage on the rear left of the car? He's out. He's out. Matthew Whitefoot's championship campaign ends on the exit of turn number 2, Howard.
Yeah, devastating there for Whitefoot, for our winner back at Le Mans, and it ends so quickly for him there, and I'm just gutted. That's so bad for him. Arguably was perhaps he had to go for it. He had to go for it for this one. He had a bit of an outside chance, to be honest. We mentioned that Andrew Dawson pretty much, you know, needs something extraordinary to happen. Whitefoot needed to go for it. I thought you said no big incident a little bit early. For Whitefoot, that's perhaps the biggest incident of the season.
It is indeed. I'm just going through these scores again. As who's that in trouble? It looks, is that Cameron Watson? I think it is Cameron Watson in trouble. He's been fast tonight, but is falling down the order now.
Al would need something special here, I think, Andrew, to improve his score at this point. I think he's pretty much relying on his scores already set as he goes wide through Spoon. Back at the front, Murray Adams absorbing the pressure at the moment at the head of the field. Tom Dix in the Jägermeister car in his wheel tracks.
Real quandary this. Real quandary for Tom Dix, and he lets Tom Dix... sorry, for Murray Adams, that is. So he lets Tom Dix through, because what does he do now? Because I don't think he can defend too much. Big, massive, near miss there, as I think Goodwin's round. Adrian Goodwin is round in the Casio triangle. Steve Hicks had a massive moment coming out of 130R. Adrian Goodwin, oh dear, it's gone wrong. It's gone on the grass, fallen down to the bottom of the order. If you're Murray Adams, you've got to be quite racy. You can't be too defensive, because you'll encourage everyone into it a little bit like this. He's in third place now. He's got Summers down the inside. James Montgomery's there as well. Sam Sanders on the outside of Murray Adams. He's got to keep his car in one piece. He's got to score the points, because if there's a penalty overhanging him, he needs to get a big result in this one to negate any of its effects.
Yeah, Matt Hale is closing in all of this, because Adams is dropping through the order like so. In fact, he's got a problem. He really seems out of sorts through the early part of this lap, side by side with Mike Hart. I've got to say, by the way, just going to acknowledge right now, what a great start Craig Brown has had to be running up there in second. But look at this now. Matt Hale is right. Matt Hale is the furthest forward of the two Simply Catnip cars, albeit Steve Hicks is right with him, and Hicks was that checking across on Pischke there, I think.
Adams is off.
Adams is off.
Adams is off, and Matt Hale was down the inside. Went for a bold move. Contact with Ross Deal. Murray Adams spins. The Live Championship leader is in trouble there on the exit of Degner number 2, and it's all gone wrong. And once again, another. Just when we think this C2 title battle is done, it throws in another bit of drama. What's happening at the back? That's going round. That's Andrew Dawson. So Andrew Dawson's chances are definitely gone now. Fremont and Adams and Goodwin go through. Crazy stuff here once again at Suzuka.
Honestly, it's like the championship players have a target on their back. How are we seeing? We're not missing other spins in the field, folks. I'm sure we may have missed a couple, but it's incredible how this is happening. The pressure is really on these guys, clearly. And we've spoken a little bit about how the car maybe handles a bit differently following the 23 Season 1 update. This is absolutely crazy. It's down the inside now. Goes Tom Edwards on Matt Hale. Stressful moments here for Matt Hale. He's not the Class 2 leader, because Craig Brown is up there in 4th place. But this is a great position for Hale, sort of, kind of, as Piskay's side by side with him. Heart in the mouth stuff for all of our championship rivals all at once.
You just don't know where to look any more with this. And is this opening up now for Matt Hale, the driver who by his own admission is not the strongest on the road courses? Has just got to keep pointing forward. No mistakes, no spins. He'd take a P10 right now when there's no other drivers in this group in C2 ahead of him. Christopher Powell is 14th. Murray Adams now 17th. Matthew Whiteford, as we say, is out of the race, unfortunately. He's down in 23rd place. Andrew Dawson in 20th. It really, really is all on Matt Hale now to see, can he close out? And these will be the 7, after this one, the 7 longest laps he's ever done around Suzuka. A driver who's been at pretty much every single one of these Club 100 iRacing nights. He spins through Degner number 2. Can he get it back under control? He can. What on earth? What on earth just happened there? Matt, don't do this to me. I thought the Simply Catnip car was going to the realm. He survives. It could be his night.
The Simply Catnip car was in the kitty litter from it. Is this it? When he says he's not that strong on the road course, is he planning to just not be on the road in order to bring this one home? It's just...
I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, this is the last commentary of DDMS 2022. I'm done. I'm done after this one. Give me that Christmas break.
Is this it for 2022? Is this how it ends?
No more. No more.
Okay. Here's a battle. Here's a battle over third place between Sam Sanders
some maths.
and James Montgomery. I can't tell when he says that if he's going to take on the pressure of working out the championship scores. He's going to try and do a Sudoku to calm down. I've no idea.
One of the two.
Charlie Summers is leading this race. Here he is. Oh, that's Rick Wong emerging from the pits. So he's had to pit, and he's now going to be some traffic for these leaders coming through. Charlie Summers is going to go to the outside. Tom Dix is going to hold station, but that's going to leave him balked, and he's going to be under pressure. He's going to lose out to Sam Sanders there. So that's changed for second place there with the traffic at play. Goodness me. Christopher Powell battling away side by side here with David Whitehouse, and irony of ironies, Murray Adams is in the vicinity as well here. Oh, blimey. Yes, you race on a night other than Wednesday and it all goes mad, I tell you.
We're never racing on a Thursday ever again.
Well, I mean, hey, it's made for some incredible racing. I mean, I'm smiling from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat here. This is absolutely fantastic. Tom Edwards battling away with Steve Hicks. Steve Hicks judging his braking well there, not to go anywhere towards the rear of Craig Brown, who's still having a fantastic race, by the way, is Craig. Running in 6th place, well in front of the Class 2 runners in this field. But Matt Hale, you got to say, he's now in a bit of no man's land. But to be honest with you, maybe that's what you want. Maybe you just want to be focusing on your lines, on your driving, to bring this one home.
Can we just mention before something else remarkable happens, because this is remarkable in itself, Sam Dimolo is on for a podium in class in a race. Well done, sir.
Yes, he is.
This is someone who's still very much a novice in iRacing, and this is what this championship, well, one of the many things this championship is about. Drivers coming in, having the opportunity to race in a known good environment with good drivers. Sam, for goodness. and get experience of racing wheel to wheel with other drivers without the pressures of public lobbies.
I've realised what it is.
Talking now.
I was going to say, I've realised what it is. This is the commentator's curse is coming back on us, mate. Everyone we talk about is going to give us a heart attack.
Stop it. Stop it, all of you. Oh, I'm going to go back to my mouths.
Tom Edwards, I think, has gone by Matt Hale, I think. But I think Matt Hale playing it sensibly at the moment. I don't think he's doing anything too rash. Now that I've said that, I doubt myself, but I'm driving sensibly at this precise moment in time. Although he is coming up towards the Degner section, so maybe he'll drift it through again, like he did earlier. Oh, goodness me. Sorry, I don't know what to say at this point. Craig Brown under pressure from Steve Hicks here out the Degners. He's going to have the inside line into the hairpin. Hicks is going to try around the outside or maybe to get the switch back. Got to be careful though because Pish goes and Hicks is round. Hicks is round. And that seems to be entirely on his own, of his own volition. And he's going to lose out there. He's to try and get back on the road and emerges right in front of Chris Hansen there. Hansen doing well to avoid that.
That's all right. That'll be another investigation between committee members.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
By the way, I hadn't clocked that we were going to race into the darkness. I don't know if anyone else knew that. I had missed that point.
At least we could see him this time.
Yes. We should say Dimelo has dropped off of that prospective podium position. It is now Christopher Powell who's up into that third position effectively within Class 2 as Steve Hicks goes up the inside of him on a bit of a recovery after that spin coming out of the hairpin. And Dimelo under pressure from Ross Deal. Murray Adams having to go over the curbing there. I mean, thank goodness it's going dark really, because clearly this evening hadn't proved a great enough challenge for the drivers. We needed to spice things up. Powell side by side with Ross Deal. Deal will surely stamp home his authority through 1 and 2. Might open the door for Adams potentially, because Powell's going to go a bit wide through 2. But I think Powell will be able to hang on. He'll have the inside line for the next corner. He's your race leader. He'll lead battle. Charlie Summers only with 3.5 tenths or so in hand over Sam Sanders. Taking plenty of curve there through the Degners, but seems to have it all under control there. So Charlie Summers, Sam Sanders, James Montgomery, your top 3. Tom Dix and Mike Hart keeping them honest there in 4th and 5th. Patrick Pischke then a further 4.5 seconds back. I do hope you've been enjoying the coverage of this final round of the season for Club 100 iRacing. Do please like, share and subscribe if you like what you've been hearing. Maybe not our most eloquent comms gig because we keep on being lost for words, but hopefully you'll appreciate it with good reason, because we're being treated to just what an evening's racing for us here in the Mazda MX-5s. We always knew that we liked this combination, but wow, this is delivering in spades right here. Matt Hale under pressure now from Cameron Watson once again. I mean, every single position and point counts, but if you're Hale, you do not want to be doing anything that you're going to regret in terms of losing what is at the moment a very tidy position. But Powell is working his way up the order. I don't think Powell's doing enough to make this round not a dropped score. So it's the best 9 of 13 results that count come the end of the championship in just a few laps time. Yeah, as it's getting tight at the front, I can see as well. Here it is into turn number 1. Still Chris Summers at the head of the field, but these drivers keeping each other very honest at the head of things here. New fastest lap of the race from Ross Deal as he goes by Steve Hicks here into turn 1. And there's a spin for Cameron Watson. Watson round there and on the apex of 2. As that will work itself out as he gets up to speed. Powell is by, Adams is by, Dimolo is also going to be by.
Right.
Goodwin can't quite do it.
So, this is probably the most provisional, unofficial spreadsheet of doom statement that I am ever going to make. Here's what I've got on the live points now for our 5 key drivers. Christopher Powell is now scoring an 84 for his round. Drivers, stop it. I'm telling the story about the championship. So Christopher Powell is still drop scoring, but if he can get another point, championship-wise, i.e. he could just chip away at a few more positions in this race, he could actually start improving his score of 804. Matt Hale is improving his score. He's now scoring a 90, so move his 804 in the championship to 805. He's now clear of Powell. He does not need a tiebreaker. Crucially though, Murray Adams, who at the start of this race on live points for championship was scoring a 92, he is now scoring an 89. He has dropped 3 points. At the moment, Matt Hale is winning C2 by 1 single championship point.
Be clear, is Powell able? Do we know how much Powell has to gain in order to start improving his score?
Just go for it, I think, for Powell.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Get as far up the road as he can in terms of score. Sorry, I'm just going to try and order this again. He needs quite a few positions, but you never know. You never know in one of these races towards the end.
I mean, people have been falling off a fair amount, haven't they? It could still go his way, but Matt Hale at the moment, as Andrew says, extremely provisionally, but Matt Hale at the moment is doing enough.
But at the same time needs to keep himself in that position. He's got 3 C1s bearing down on him.
Yeah. This could be crucial stuff, and this is the difficult one now, mate, where, you know, for the people going through so far, I think he's been able to play it sensibly. And
here's a situation, Howard, I mean, this is provisional. I'm hoping I'm not wrong here as Rick Wong pulls off. The situation in terms of the round points, we know we always talk about, regular viewers of BUKC will know we talk about round points and championship points a lot. The round points that Matt Hale has got at the moment, by my calculations, 268. Murray Adams is behind him on 267. Patrick Pischke is behind him on 266. What this is meaning is those guys behind him, Deal, Hansen, Hicks, if they overtake him, it'll convert potentially into 2 championship points. This is it, folks. This battle right here. Can Matt Hale hold himself against debutant Ross Deal and the 2 fellow members in the committee? This is what's going to decide the championship in C2.
It's a very long time that Hale has got to keep them behind him as well. We've seen how racy Ross Deal is looking. And as we said, pretty much one of the first things we said, mate, Ross Deal has nothing to lose tonight.
Nothing to lose. But at the same time, Matt Hale has a fair amount to lose. But can he stop one of the top TKM drivers back in the day in Britain getting through? A top driver here in iRacing as well with a very high iRating. Ross Deal is through. Ross Deal has got through. Puts Matt Hale down to 10th place and loses him a round point. That now puts him even with Murray Adams. But it could get worse for Matt Hale, because here comes Chris Hansen. The 2 drivers who both ran in G3 Pro liveries last year. Round the outside. Is it slipping away for Matt Hale? Through, but off the track. That was potentially an overtake off the track there. From Hale, down the inside goes Hicks. Hicks now looking for a move. Is it all just ebbing away for Matt Hale? You've got to say there's no help between the committee members here. They're just racing at the moment. But it could all be slipping away now for Matt Hale and falling into the hands of the driver that we thought that was out of this. We thought he was out of control. Christopher Powell, there he is. There he is in 13th place.
Andrew, does he gain if he lets Adams by?
I've not done the maths on that. I think these uncertain times, just go for it. Christopher Powell's just got to go for it.
As in, you said it was Murray Adams who Hale was tied with now on round points.
Yes. I think you've got to keep Murray Adams behind if you're in Christopher Powell's situation.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. In other words, oh gosh, I can't work it out. Oh, and that's a place for Higgsy to go for it. And Hale's into the kitty litter.
And if he loses position on the road to Powell, and then Adams, that is it. There they are. There they are. It's come down to the last lap. Christopher Powell can see the C2 Championship ahead of him. He's had an awful night. He's had a very un-Christopher Powell night here at Suzuka, but right ahead of him is the G3 Pro and Simply Catnip liveried car that if he can get by Matt Hale, by our calculations, he becomes the C2 class champion of 2022.
This is just on tenterhooks after all the racing we've done across. Let's not forget all the different disciplines. You know, it's been such a varied calendar for us this year in Club 100. Look at Murray Adams. Murray Adams down the inside of Powell into Spoon. And he's got nothing to lose now as well. Although what I'm wondering, Andrew, is if Adams and Hale are very close on round points, what does that do for that?
I don't know.
Does that actually deny Hale more points?
It's all gone very topsy-turvy. And we've still got a lap of this to go. Oh my goodness me.
It's just side by side going into 130R as you do, and Powell's off the road. I think that was Dimolo off the road in the background. And by the way, their nose to tail change for the lead is that going into one. Sam Sanders to the head of the field of a race that Charlie Summers has led for so long. Again, it's come down to a major battle on the last lap.
We've not even mentioned Charlie Summers is on for a round win here.
Oh, well done, Charlie.
Oh my goodness.
Here is Matt Hale. Murray Adams and Christopher Powell are behind him by a few tenths coming on to the last lap, and it's a long lap here in these Mazda MX-5's here at Suzuka. Lead battle going through the darkness into the Degners. Sanders, Summers, Montgomery. Ay, ay, ay. This is the closest battle on track as well. Through the hairpin comes the top three. Steve Hicks as well here, challenging Craig Brown for 10th place. Brilliant, brilliant drive from Craig Brown in this one. As it stands, still on for being the highest placed C2 runner in this race. And then Matt Hale is next down the road, some 6 seconds behind them. Here he is coming towards the hairpin, and Murray Adams is closing. Lead battle heading towards 130R for the last time. The last bit of racing in our 2022 Club 100 iRacing Championship. It's Summers round the outside of 130R, is it? It is. It's debatable whether that's within track limits, side by side between Montgomery and Sanders behind him. Nevertheless, into the Casio triangle. And who is it going to be? It's going to be Montgomery who gets the best run off of the corner. But Summers is going to be ahead as they sprint towards the line. Who's going to finish second out of it? It's going to be Montgomery. And Summers across the line to take the win. Montgomery in second and Sanders in third.
Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff here tonight at Suzuka. We just don't know. This is another one of those that's just too close to call. Whatever the result may be, Christopher Powell's off the road. I think it's not going to affect things. It's still going to be a drop score for him, but what a season it's been. We'll wait for the results. Matt Hale, Murray Adams, Christopher Powell. It's going to be one of those three who's going to be C2 champion over the line. We're going to have to run the points again at the end there. let's just take a breath for the moment. Matt finished in 12th, Murray in 13th. So I think we know that for Christopher Powell, it's a dropped score tonight. I've currently got Matt Hale scoring 88 points, strictly provisional, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a fall back on where he was at the start of this race. What that means is I think Christopher Powell has beaten Matt Hale, but has he beaten Murray Adams? Murray Adams, I've got us currently scoring a 90, 2 points back from what he was scoring early this season. We may have a tie here on points between Christopher Powell and Murray Adams.
And I've got to stop, not because there's a lump in my throat, but there's an ache in my head.
Oh, wow. What well done, Charlie Summers. What a
good job.
Thoroughly deserved
Brilliant.
round win there by our calculations for Charlie Summers. Again, great to see a driver who's not been here from the start. I'm pretty sure he's been doing some proper grinding on the iRating. I don't remember seeing Charlie's iRating up at 6.3k before. I think that's the right winner tonight. I would say he has been, in race trim, the fastest driver tonight, the most consistent driver. He's had some dramas to deal with, but great to see him taking that race win. And as we say, we're pretty sure he's taken the round win as well.
Here's your confirmed result then for that final race. Summers as your winner, Montgomery in second, and Sam Sanders in third. All within 3/10 and 2/100ths the gap between Montgomery and Sanders at the line. Hart and Dix did well to keep them honest throughout there. Patrick Pischke in 6th, Tom Edwards. Ross Deal, what a debut he's had there in 8th place, and in some ways he might have played a hand there in deciding the Class 2 championship on his very first night, as we saw the cars going by on Matt Hale there towards the end. Chris Hansen and Steve Hicks rounds out your top 10. What a drive from Craig Brown. Well done to that man right there. That is a brilliant result for him there. Highest place of the Class 2 runners in 11th place. Then we get to the interesting one, the scores that are being thrown into the spreadsheets and calculators and abaci at this moment in time. Matt Hale in 12th, Murray Adams in 13th, Cameron Watson in 14th, and it was Sam Dimolo, Adrian Goodwin. And interesting for Powell, just I don't know what went wrong for him coming out of that final chicane, but he lost out.
I have a theory.
Oh, for what went wrong? Is he letting people through?
Yeah, that's my theory.
He's trying to get people to gain points
for him. Try and give others points to then bump his title rivals down. It's just a theory.
If it is, it's extremely shrewd. Extremely shrewd. I mean, blimey. Okay. James Fremont in 18th, 19th. Andrew Dawson. A good effort from Dawson, but we can say he's fallen short of that Class 2 title there, but what a season he has had nonetheless. David Whitehouse in the Mind car there, rounding up the top 20. Tom Kemping, bit of an eventful evening, not least in that race 2 start, 21st there. Matthew Whitefoot, gutting for him, devastating moment there on the first lap, which saw him off to driver's right out of turn 2 and beached there, and that's where his championship bid for Class 2 honours ended, unfortunately. Rick Wong in 23rd, only his second round, so hoping he's enjoyed that. Made his own pivotal moment, actually coming out the pits when the leaders were coming up to him as well there, and Ian Sumner rounding out the 24 drivers in that race. So that's how they finished the final race of the night, and indeed of the season, which quite poetically the darkness is falling on our 2022 season. Is that pathetic fallacy, or does it have to be weather related? It's dark, and the sun is setting on the season nonetheless. But I won't lie to you, folks. I'll level with you. I'm somewhat stalling here whilst everyone works out what the actual outcome is for Class 2. We should acknowledge the main championship. You know, we haven't even mentioned tonight. The championship wrapped up, of course. Josh Ladd, our champion overall and in Class 1. Congratulations to him. He's not been here this evening. Michael Preston, second in the championship, and that was secured as well, I should say. Nobody could overhaul him either for second in the championship. So first and second overall in Class 1 had been decided. As had coming into tonight Class P3 as well. Yes, it was. So Sam Sanders was able to race comfortably tonight. In fact, I'm just looking within Class 1, where would the battle have been? So 4th place, James Montgomery could have been overhauled by the likes of Charlie Summers and Steve Hicks, and I feel like it's been fairly close between them all night. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's bagged that 4th place in the championship as well. And indeed, Mike Hart's had a strong night as well. So 4th down through to 7th is an interesting battle in the standings as well. Albeit not quite as hotly contested as Class 2.
I have a round result, and
okay,
I'm going to go. Ooh, which way am I going to go? I'm going to go where do I go? Normally go from the bottom up. 24th, Ian Sumner, 76 championship points. 23rd, Tom Kemping, 77 championship points. Sam Dimlow, 22nd, 78. You get the picture. We'll start naming the key ones as we go along. 21st, David Whitehouse in the top 20 for Rick Wong. Here's the first of our C2 championship contenders. Christopher Powell scores 81 points for this round. So that is a dropped score. So Christopher Powell stays, we know there, on 804 points, the best 9 scores from 13. Next is Andrew Dawson. So he finishes the round at 18th, 82 points. That sadly is Dawson out. Dawson needed quite a big round tonight. It didn't quite happen for him. Needed something like the 92s and the 89s that he got earlier in the season. It wasn't to be, so that's him out. 17th was Tom Edwards. 16th was James Fremont. 15th was Adrian Goodwin. We find the next of our title contenders, Matthew Whitefoot, scoring 86 points in 14th. I'm just going to refer to the live score that we had earlier. That is a loss from where Matthew was. That spin in race 3 really did cost him. It's in effect cost him 5 championship points. So that's Matthew Whitefoot out of the situation. 13th was Matt Hale. That's 87 points for the championship. That similarly is another drop back from the live points that we had before race 3. Means he finishes on 802. Christopher Powell is still there on 804 as the clubhouse leader, as you were. 12th place was Patrick Pishke, to 88 points for him. Isn't a factor in Class 2. We then find 2 drivers on 269 points. The driver in 10th place scores 90 points. The driver in 11th place scores 89 points. If the driver on 90 points is Murray Adams, it's tied on points for the championship in C2 between Murray Adams and Christopher Powell. In 11th place, scoring 89 points for this round, was Murray Adams. It was Murray Adams who scores 89. Craig Brown scores 90. And by our calculations, that has Christopher Powell by the slimmest of margins, by 1 championship point, the C2 champion. We stress that is provisional. That's before any investigations, any penalties, etc. But that's what we're at the moment calling here. in the box. Let's carry on with the rest of the order for this round. 9th on debut, Ross Deal. Gave it everything. Showed the pace that he has. I really hope that we see Ross Deal back for more Club 100 iRacing in the future. 8th was Sam Sanders on 92. 7th was Cameron Watson with 93 points for the championship. Sorry, just to name the round points as well. 270 for Ross Deal. 274 for Sam Sanders, 277 for Cameron Watson. Chris Hansen finishes this year as the reigning C2 champion in 6th with 278 round points, equating to 94 in the championship. Mike Hart finishes in the top 5 in this round, 95 points for him. James Montgomery 4th on 96. On our podium tonight, Tom Dix finishes in 3rd place on 97. Steve Hicks 2nd, scores 98 points for his championship. Those two were had to be tie-breaking as well. And for the first time in C1 and overall, Charlie Summers on 292 points wins a round of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. It's gone very dark here at Suzuka, but what a round result. We're just gonna try and get the scores for the championship confirmed. For Christopher Powell. We have now had them confirmed. Our 5 drivers for the championship points. Best 9 scores from 13 finished like this. Andrew Dawson on 790. Matthew Whitewood on 796. Matt Hale on 802. Murray Adams on 803. Christopher Powell on 804. He has his worst round tonight since round 3 of the championship. This is why we quite like drop score systems, mate, because you can have a driver have an absolute stinker in the last round, but just hold on because of their consistency earlier in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we love that kind of structure to it. It does give everyone a chance to be in the hunt right till the end as well. That is the other big plus. But for us as neutral viewers, it's fantastically entertaining.
So there we go. That is it. All of a sudden, that is us done. Sorry, mate.
Indeed. No, it's all right. I've got to say, one system that's been in place this year have been points docked for penalties.
Yes.
And the only person, I did clock it coming into tonight, the only person of the top 5 who was carrying one of those penalty points into tonight was Murray Adams. So it wouldn't have decided it in that situation, because in a tie, Powell would still have won on countback. But yeah, an interesting thing to note there. I think, you know, when it came this close.
Correct you there, mate. It would have decided it because Adams had a better Le Mans score than Powell.
Yes.
So that has been the key bit. That penalty point arguably has decided it. But Christopher Powell, congratulations. That's a bit of endurance racing for no cost in 2023.
It is indeed.
Right, we're gonna wrap things up here. As I say, this is our last live stream for commentary for 2022. Again, it's been a bit of a bonkers year for both of us. Let's firstly, big thanks to our sponsors of this championship. You've seen their logos on the screen for all 13 rounds of this championship. Simply Catnip, G3 Pro, Club 100 Racing and the BUKC. We literally could not do this series without them, their support. Thank you so much to everyone involved on that side. Thank you to SimTech as well for their support of the former 3 events. It's been fantastic to work with those guys and provide some of the prizes for our winning drivers here in the championship this year. Thank you to all of you at home. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. It's been great fun hosting these streams and these races. Do hope we get to do it again next year. Do tell your friends, do tell people about this championship. Let's keep it growing as we go into 2023. I think those are the main ones, Howard. Howard, who would you like to thank for the championship this year?
Oh God, I mean, thanks to everyone for taking part. It's been so well supported. It's been great to have such a varied season as well, with the different formats, and a big shout out to the committee as well, who's been running this championship and making it happen. There is so much discussion that goes on behind the scenes to make this happen. So to everyone involved in that, to Hixie, to Chris Hansen, Matt Hale, Tom Banks as well, just everybody who's been involved in those conversations to make it happen. Thanks for that. Generally, beyond just this championship, mate, it's been a pleasure as ever to cover all the stuff that we've done this season. So that's been an absolute pleasure. So cheers to you for that, and just thank you to the viewers as well. Thank you for supporting and continuing to support us. And yeah, look forward to everything that 2023 will bring.
Absolutely. Well, as the sun sets on another season of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship, I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I do hope we get to see you again. When, as I say, fingers crossed, we get to do it all again in 2023. The questionnaire to pull in people's feedback will be coming out in due course, and we'll let you know when there's news about calendars and what events and what cars we're going to use for next season. So do keep an eye out for that. We're, as ever, across all social media, major social media networks, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube at Double Dash MM. And yeah, after a bonkers night, let's be honest, here with the championship, we are going to wrap things up there. Thank you very much for your continued support. If you haven't already and you would like to do so, please click that subscribe button. Have a very, very Merry Christmas, y'all, and we'll see you in 2023. Thank you very much for joining us here on the DDMM YouTube channel. Nighty night and goodbye. Do take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you very, very soon.